everyone. Welcome to our last info session for the 2021 school year. My name is Michelle, and we're going to tell you a little bit about Berkeley Model United Nations Conference.
Oh, geez. Well, I guess you can figure out who made these slides. I guess Michelle's made it her life's mission to embarrass me. But moving on, my name is Ashwin Shrikant. I'm incredibly happy to see you all here. And I have the honor of being the Secretary General for BMUN 69th session. So as Secretary General, I oversee our officer corps, liaise with our board of directors, and in general provide direction and oversight for our internal and external operations. And I guess I also take attendance at our general meetings, but that's less important. I'm a fourth-year molecular cell biology and public health double major. I originally grew up in San Jose, but also grew up, moving around the world to Finland, Brazil, China, and finally Singapore, where I'm actually calling in from. And I'm incredibly excited to see you all here and to get to know some of you.
Wow, what a flex. Travels all around the world. If you can click the screen though real quick, that would be really helpful to me. Okay, so my name is Michelle. I am the Chief of Staff for this year, and I do make the slide presentations. That's part of my role, but my main role is actually managing our members. So while Ashwin deals with the officer corps and the board of directors, I get to deal directly with our members, putting on general meetings, ensuring everyone has everything they need, and really preparing our members for conference, which is one of my favorite aspects of kind of what we do for Berkeley Model United Nations Conference. A little bit about me, I'm a fourth year studying political science, and I'm calling in from Berkeley right now. I'm actually in the dorm since I'm an RA. Interesting times, but I'm so incredibly excited to be here and kind of explain a little bit of what we do. And kind of going into what we actually do, we broke it down into three parts and kind of the three most important things that we like to cover and talk about as Berkeley Model United Nations Conference. So the first being global outreach. Our outreach in education has a global approach, and we do everything from support local high school programs to travel globally to run international conferences and fundraise for causes we care about each year. This year that cause is the Rafiki Coalition, but we change it every year in order to support a local organization that we think is important. Another thing that we do is build community. At the end of the day, Berkeley Model United Nations is an organization, but we're also a family. We really focus on our community, building community with each other, and we do that through our retreats. We host an alumni soiree, banquets, and now virtual events to foster that community. Since we host our conference, all of our events are paid for in full because we don't want there to be any socioeconomic barriers to joining our community. And then finally, what we're known for, you might be wondering, we do all these things, but we have MUN in our name, is we're known for organizing conferences. We host the oldest MUN conference in the world and the largest on the West Coast. And we do it well. We focus on the research and education of that. And we also host some smaller conferences in the fall. People often ask, do you need MUN experience to apply? Will I be at a disadvantage if I don't have MUN experience? Absolutely not. At our core, we're a research conference, we're an education conference, and entering into our 69th session, we're really focused in working with our partners to provide the best experience possible. And kind of going into our first tenet, which is outreach and education. Our outreach and education team operates everywhere from locally in the Bay Area to Southern California to even we send people abroad to chair international conferences. Here are some photos from one of our favorite events that we host. We host a workshop in the fall for free for students to come kind of learn about what MUN is. And we do this for free to ensure there's no financial barriers for high school students as well.
So our local outreach is one of the most important aspects of what we do and really does take a large chunk of our outreach and philanthropy mission. So we constantly travel to schools in California from as far north as Napa to as far south as Monterey, although we've definitely done longer distances in the past. We spend time teaching high schoolers in schools there about MUN and also in general, some of the key skills that will serve them well, like researching, public speaking, debating. So if you're also interested in learning more, our officer in charge of outreach, Dhruv Mandal, is also going to be here. So please feel free to reach out to him or any of us BMUN members to ask any questions you may have.
Yeah, and another portion of what we do for outreach is global outreach. Like I said, we are known internationally. We host the oldest MUN conference in the world, and with that comes people asking us to help them host their conferences, whether we do it virtually or whether they pay for us to actually travel and work with them and chair their conferences. So in the bottom right-hand corner, that is when we sent a few of our members to China on an all-expense paid trip to help them chair their conference. The top right picture is actually of me and my friend Sachin, who was in BMUN but has since graduated. We traveled to Japan and we helped host a conference in Tokyo. And I think the next conference that we have up, I'm very excited for that opportunity. But for Malta, I think Ashwin, you're probably the best person to speak on that.
Yeah, so most recently we partnered with an organization in Malta to run and organize BMUN Malta from the ground up. So it's an incredibly rewarding experience that I really hope you guys will get to, indulge in one day. So another aspect of our outreach and then also our philanthropy mission is our fundraising and our capacity for building our external community through these different fundraising and philanthropy missions. So as a registered nonprofit, we every year will support an annual cause and partner with an organization to ask for proceeds and fundraising from our actual conference and throughout our external activities as well. So this year, our conference cause is the Rafiki Coalition, an amazing organization that's aimed at eliminating health inequities in San Francisco's Black and marginalized communities. It's an incredibly holistic system, and we're incredibly proud and honored that they're willing to give us their trust in partnering with us. And it's an incredible opportunity, and they're a phenomenal organization to do so.
Yeah, I'm so excited for our partnership with them.
Yeah, so one of the most important and, in my opinion, one of the most fun aspects of BMUN is definitely our community. We're absolutely a family. We're constantly looking out for each other and building friendships. And we as a club spend a lot of time building this community, through events, bonding throughout the year. Here are some pictures from several of our events, like our alumni soiree, our delegate dance in the top left corner, and many more, as you'll see shortly.
Yeah, and we've been getting a lot this year. What is community going to like during COVID for you? So what's actually going to be happening? Here are some of the events that I'm planning with my team to ensure that people still feel connected with each other. So we've been doing virtual game nights throughout the summer. We are planning on having a BMUN talent show. Ashwin and I differ on this. I do not think we have traditional talent, but Ashwin's also a fantastic singer. So I fully expect your audition tape to blow us out of the water when it comes time for the BMUN talent show. But as of right now, the only thing we have lined up is Dylan is going to do a video on how to make the perfect burrito. So that's the type of talent we have to offer currently. We'll also do Netflix parties. We're planning a BMUN self-care night. Hopefully, we're hoping we're able to send face masks and relaxation items to our members so we can do all of that virtually. Spotify listening sessions. And then we focus too on professional development and alumni connections. On the right, that's a photo from one of our game nights that we hosted. One of our alumni would like us to make it known that for potential applicants, BMUN definitely doesn't stand for Berkeley Model United Nations. It stands for best for making new friends, but I would agree with that as well. And we also have a very active Slack channel, which our members are able to connect with each other digitally. One of the bottom right is from our channel BMUN Quotes. Justin was a member that joined us last year. That was after being in a year in the club, and he could not spell Kuwait. We're very proud of Justin. And like I said, we do professional development and alumni events as well. And we try to continue community past when you graduate and you're sinking a lot of time into BMUN. We want to make sure you're getting something out of it. Here's where some of our alumni have gone, are planning on going post-graduation. And I'm actually going to touch on some of the alumni that I'm still connected with personally. So at the left corner, you'll see Natasha in the center. She works for Salesforce on the diversity and inclusion team. She's actually the chair of our board of directors. As a global entity, we do have a board of directors that's very active and engages with us as well. Ashwin sits on that board and ensures that BMUN is reaching its educational and philanthropic mission globally. In the center, you might recognize the person on the left as former Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, but the person on the right is one of my favorite people, Rashida actually works for the United Nations through the US government. She is absolutely fantastic. She got me an internship at the UN my sophomore year that changed my life. And Ashley in the right corner, like I said, you do not need MUN experience to apply. You don't even need to be a political science student. You don't need to be in humanities or social science. Ashley was a cognitive science major, and now she works for Google as an associate product manager.
And last but not least, we really definitely wanted to touch on our actual conference, which we'll be hosting next year in February. But before we get into the nitty gritty of that, just a quick background on what Model UN really is, and what we hope to accomplish through our conference. So Model UN is a simulation of the actual United Nations. So here, high school students will represent different countries in various committees that mirror the actual UN's committees. So we have our General Assembly and our specialized ones with differing procedures, just like the UN does. And each committee will have a specific set of topics that students will debate and discuss in order to come up with a functional solution to these problems at the end of the conference, or at least that's the hope.
Yeah.
So the way that we organize it as an organization is to plan not only our conference, but also our other initiatives through our committees and staffs. Committees take on organizing and planning to run their actual conference committee. And so as a chair, you'll be facilitating debate, taking delegates' points and motions, and making sure that your specific committee runs smoothly. A staff, on the other hand, is headed up by one of the members of our 13 other officer members, so the members of our officer corps, and function throughout the year to accomplish the back-end tasks that we need in order to get the conference and the club up and running. So as a new member, you'd be placed on both a committee and a staff with different responsibilities. And these vary from different staff such as technology, treasury, organizational partnerships, media and alumni relations. And so we obviously offer a wealth of different resources and different training for you to really pursue your own vocational interest. But this isn't even mentioning our committees themselves. We have 23 committees this year, and these are just a few examples of some of the really, really interesting topics that we're going to be debating at the conference this year, ranging from entrepreneurship in the developing world, to global data privacy, to resiliency of healthcare systems in conflict zones. We really try and branch out and really do try and tackle some of the most pertinent issues plaguing our society today.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about BMUN is just the care that our chairs will put into their topics. So even if you haven't done MUN, just being able to do a deep dive on an international relations topics like some of the ones you listed is so huge. And that's one of my favorite parts of BMUN. And we're very lucky that a lot of people want to join our organization every year. So we wanted to go through our application, make it seem a little less scary, and kind of explain what we're looking for in that. So for our application, it's 2 main questions that we're evaluating, followed by a 15-minute coffee chat that is not evaluated and a 15-minute interview that is evaluated. So the first question being, why do you want to join BMUN? Second being, why would you be a good fit? So people often ask, do I need specific experiences? If I haven't done MUN, if I haven't done speech and debate, will I be at a disadvantage? Absolutely not. What we're looking for is, one, do you know who we are and what we stand for? Do you know about our educational mission? Do you know what we focus on? Do you know what we care about as an org? Do you have basic writing skills? Did you write in complete sentences? Did you have good grammar when you submitted your application? Did you put effort into the application? Did you use the word count to the best of your advantage? Did you proofread it before you submitted it to us? And finally, would you be a good fit for BMUN? Like I said, we're not looking for specific examples, rather we're looking for specific interests. We list those out in the app. If you've seen this presentation, you'll be able to guess what we're looking for. We're looking for people that care about our goals, our mission, and kind of reducing inequities in the MUN community or in the debate community as a whole through education and philanthropy. And kind of diving deep into our interview. So one question that trips people up every year generally has to do with when we ask a question about current events. And we realize that this can be daunting if this is your first introduction to current events. Say you're interested in education, but you don't know as much about international relations. We wanted to provide tips that you can use when tackling any international issue to kind of get at the crux of what we're looking for and kind of the crux of what the issue is. And we use these same types of questions when we go and we help schools in the Bay Area or elsewhere try to learn IR as well. So when we're asking questions, for instance, last year we told our applicants, so before they went into the interview, we told them to research the Yemen crisis, and then we ask them to give us their thoughts on that crisis during the interview itself. Now, if you haven't researched international relations, you're not a poli-sci student, sometimes this is a little difficult, but what you should do if we do the same thing this year, and you will get advance warning, is kind of have a global mindset to how you look at it. So the first question I always look at is, what is happening? What is actually going on in the region? What is actually going on? What is the actual conflict, crisis? What is going on? 2, why is it happening? Is it historical? Did something happen? What led to what is going on currently? Kind of what started this? 3, who are the major actors? Who is actually involved? So for instance, in Yemen, obviously Yemen is involved, but also Saudi Arabia and the US government are also highly involved in that conflict. And that often throws people because they might just look at the Yemen side of it, but definitely look at who is actually involved in this. And then finally, what is happening now? So did something escalate recently? What's the most recent update to this that is significant?
So no discussion about recruitment for any club would be complete without a discussion of our time commitment for a BMUN member. So a BMUN member will meet as a overall club every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. And then as a smaller group, you will meet with your committee, which we also call our dioceses, every week for 30 minutes on an ad hoc basis. Also, we have our delegate workshop and obviously our conference on October 24th and February 26th to 28th, respectively. These are obviously really important to us as they really do represent the culmination of a lot of our efforts from throughout the different phases of our preparation and throughout the year. So it's obviously mandatory for many of our BMUN members, but you'll also find that these are incredibly rewarding and just incredibly fun experiences to go through. And last but not least is obviously our club activities. Now, these are not mandatory for any club members. Obviously, life gets in the way, classes get in the way, but they are encouraged because, as I'm sure, like you can ask either Michelle or any other of our BMUN members that, one of the most just engaging, one of the most fun aspects of being a BMUN member is the great diversity of events that we have, different socials. For example, in the pictures on the right, you can see on the top picture is Laura and Nishita from our welcome barbecue for our new members. And then the bottom couple of pictures are Annie, Ryan, Nikhil, and Vikas from our trip to Tahoe annually. So they are incredibly fun, and I'd really encourage you to reach out if you have any questions about those.
Oh yeah, my BMUN friends, I think the most fun I have is probably at BMUN events, and those are my fondest memories of Cal. Even the virtual ones are still great. So if you want to join us, if you're interested, the application process is here. Our applications are due September 4th, so Friday at 11:59 p.m. And then we only recruit for the full year. We do not recruit in the spring as well. So the written application is at bmun.org/apply. It is only 300 words, like I said before. So definitely don't worry about sinking too much time into it. But like I said before, make sure you put a little effort into it so we just know you're interested. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself at chief@bmun.org. After the application is due, we will notify you on Sunday or Mondays. So I believe the 6th or the 7th. And then we have informal coffee chats the following week, so the 8th through the 10th. And our interviews are September 11th to the 13th, and we notify people the next week because whoever joins our community, we want them to join as soon as possible. So we're really focused on ensuring that if you're interested in us and you're a good fit for our club, you're able to join as soon as you possibly can. And then with that being said, I think I'm gonna stop the recording right now, but we'll answer any questions. And honestly, I think the best way to get to know our BMUN members is to talk to them. So we'll put you into breakout rooms. Ashwin, do you have anything to add before I stop the recording for our YouTube?
No, I'm just really glad that you guys are here and that you guys are able to see this. And I really hope that, we get to see you apply and see you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.